All right, what is up, everyone? Welcome back to a new video. In this video, we are going to do a monthly review on the month of March here. So it certainly was March Madness over here at Time D Trading. We did trade pretty much every day of the month, so we got a lot to talk about, but I am going to try and make this video a little bit shorter than the last monthly reviews. I won't go into every single trade. We'll go over some of the stats. We'll go through some of the trades. We'll take a look at some of the members of the Time D community and how they're doing, and then we'll get up out of here. All right. So I'll give you guys a couple final thoughts on the way out, and then we'll keep it moving here. So this is the month of March here. So as you can see in the top right corner here, we've got March 1st into March 31st, and this was a good month. You know, we had about a $22,000 month, 22.7. This is all XFA trading. None of this is combines or challenges. They are all XFAs. I have 5 funded accounts with Top Step currently, and they're all live, right? So this is all funded accounts here. I had a 66% win rate due to a couple losses there. I had a 79% daily win rate. We'll talk about some of the losses here a little bit today on this video here as well. We got off to a good start though, right? We kind of started moving up and just kind of had this steady incline here where, you know, that's exactly what I want to see on a month-to-month basis, right? So looking pretty good there. Also on average, I'd say I was right about, you know, $1,200 to $1,500 days. As you can see here, this is about average, right? Of course, you are going to have those bigger days, you know, days like this that come in, and, you know, when you're trading your plan and you're following your system, you're just going to get rewarded some days. You know, some days as you're approaching those base hits and that base hit mindset, you know, price going to throw something nice at you and you're going to have a nice runner. And that's what happened to me on this day. And we'll go over all these days as well here real quick. But so far, so good. Still almost close to a 2R. So average winner is about 937. Average loser is going to be about 560. Here's a look at some of the trades over here. If we kind of come down here, we'll get to see just some of the trades, right? So you got all gold and NASDAQ, by the way. If you don't know, we trade gold and the NASDAQ live on YouTube every single day for the New York session. We also have 4 live streams inside of the private community, which is called the TT Clubhouse. We'll talk more about that later, but we do trade Asian session together in there. We trade London session. We trade pre-New York, and then we do trade the New York session all together as a group. You know, 100 plus of us just hanging out, having a good time, you know, taking good, solid trades together as a group here. So anyway, most of these trades, I'd say 95% of them were taken within the Clubhouse live streams or the YouTube live stream. And as you can see, you know, right around $1,000 winners, trying to keep my losers relatively small. You know, there's a big one there. We'll kind of talk about that when we go into the trades, but you know, just averaging about $1,000 a day, right? $1,000 a trade, trying to keep my losers small, like I mentioned, and just have a good old time here. So let's move back towards the month here. We'll go back into January. We started off the month extremely well here. As you can see, all green days on the first week here of the month, having a big week, a $13,000 week. I did do some payouts during that week. If you go back, you'll see some of my payouts and my payout videos. But just a solid week of, you know, XFA trading. As you can see here, not overdoing it. 2 trades, 1 trade, 2 trades, and then this was the big one. Obviously, I was seeing the market really well that day. It wasn't like I was fighting back. I was more so having fun and enjoying the read that I had on the market that day, right? It's a big day, 4 trades, all 4 winners. As you can see here, actually did not lose 1 trade this entire week. So 100% on every single day. And then we move into the next day, or next week, I should say, on the 10th. Kind of had 4 trades in this day, then took some losses here. Let's take a look at the losses. Pretty big loss too. Yeah, just a very simple breakout play that I would normally take. Clean traffic to the left. Candle broke the lows and, you know, looked pretty good for a sell. You know, I kept my stops above the previous candle highs here, and, you know, price came up and hit it. And look, I mean, that's a good loss. You know, if you can look at your trades and look at your losses and say, hey, you know what, I'm not upset about that one. I can't get mad about that one. It was a good trade. I followed my system. I followed my plan, and there's nothing you can do about that. You keep it moving, and you just sit on and wait for the next best trade. So I did end up kind of getting some money back that day. Looks like I did go long on gold here. So went long on gold, found a beautiful setup a little bit later in the day. And yeah, just executed, right? You had a beautiful move up, buys off of this support level, price kind of filling that wick up there. That's where I closed 80% of my position. As you can see, there's clean traffic to the left-hand side. You have volume. This is going to be just a couple, 30 minutes after London Open, and beautiful textbook playbook position there. So that was actually a day where I went green to red. And I do not like those days. As you know, my daily win rate is very high. So I think I had 1 or 2 green days that ended up going red here this month. So that's kind of what took my daily win rate down a little bit to 78% as opposed to like 85, 90. So anyway, that was a red day. The very next day I skipped. I did not trade that day. I guess there just wasn't any good setups in the market. Obviously here I didn't have a good read either. 3 trades, 33% win rate. So yeah, just ended up taking 2 losses here. So let's take a look here. So this was a trade taken on NQ. You had this candle break out, right? You had clean, not that clean, but you had a wick to fill over here on a different time frame. It looks like I got activated and then straight down we went. So the outcome of this trade, I believe I managed it, and closed it with a small little loss there. So no big deal on that one. I think I could have probably avoided that trade. It was very choppy. The market was very choppy during this time. There wasn't super clean range. I mean, it worked, right? It worked a little bit later, but I think I was just fighting this chop at that point, and probably could have avoided that one. But all in all, that was a loss. It was managed properly. And this is the cool part about managing your trades, right? Because I could have took a full loss on that trade, which probably would have been about $1,000, right? But instead I managed it. I closed negative 222. And then later on in the New York session, I made it back, right? So I was able to kind of look at the markets, get a better view in a different session, and go ahead and take this buy position, which was phenomenal on NQ, and just ran it up and got that loss back. So that's the importance of really managing your trades. And then Friday I ended with a pretty good day. I had a 1.6 $1,600 in profit. Looks like I took 6 trades that day. But yeah, these are the big ones. The long here on gold and long on NQ. Yeah, this was it. So beautiful position taken here. 3 contracts, break of the highs, price moved up, was looking to fill this entire range right here. And yeah, I think I closed partial somewhere over here. So anytime I see a candle like this and it doesn't have a wick on it, I know that typically these candles are going to come up to make that top wick. So I genuinely like to take profits there. And then if the rest of it wants to run up, then that's totally fine. I'll leave a small runner in for that candle to continue pushing up to full TP. So that was a pretty good trade taken on, I think that was gold, or was that NQ here? That was gold. Yeah, this is gold here. So that was on the 14th. Let's go back to the 14th really quick. And let's see, it looks like a break even. It looks like I was trying some things on NQ a little bit later in the day, probably trying to do some scalps, you know what I mean, later on in the day, like I've been testing. But all in all, these are all small losses. I think they were just basically break even trades. And then the 2 big ones were the gold long and then the NQ long, which is right here. So that was the real 2 trades I took that day. You had this kind of celery play. Stops were kept below the lows. TP was right in this zone here, right? And then that was it. That was the trade. So I did manage to, on the 14th, kind of get out of there profitable, $1,600. So I had a good look, but I just kept, getting some break evens, trying to execute on the NASDAQ there. So that was week 2. We move over to week 3 now. Monday, it was a red day. So I remember this day. It was I lost $2,200 pretty early. This was the loss. So let me just get rid of some of these real quick. This was the trade. I think it was a good trade. You had higher time frame direction. You had clean traffic over here to the left. You had this candle break out. My entry was on this candle here. I went into profit a little bit, got price came back in the range. And here's the tricky part about this trade, because I remember this one. So originally my stop loss was sitting right here, right, I think it was like right here, somewhere right there, right? So the red candle, the bearish candle that was going against me, as it was going against me, there was about 12 seconds left. So what I did was I moved my stop loss, right? I moved it down a little bit, and then this red candle closed. And if you look here, the way it closed is it closed with no bottom wick. So one thing I know about candles that close with no bottom wick is typically the next candle is not going to have like any range, right, to move down. So it'll most likely start pushing up. Funny thing is, so that made me want to move my stop loss, give it some extra, extra room to breathe down here. And man, the market just knows. The market just knows when you're going to move your stop and do stuff like that. And if you look here, we just came down, boink, stopped me out, and then this candle did move up there. So that was one of the losses there. That was a pretty big loss too. It was $2,200 on that loss. So that was that trade. But then as you can see, I ended up coming back up. So did take a short here on NQ later on that day. I don't have the picture for that. Let's go back to Monday. The big long here out of NQ was right here. So I ended up going long. I believe this was on the 1 minute, 5 minute, 1 minute. Yeah, so I've been working on a little bit of a 1 minute system strategy here on NQ. No different from what I do on the 15, 30 minute, 1 hour time frame. Just a little bit of different perspective on where to get the bias from and how to operate on these lower time frames. I'm brand new to trading on the 1 minute time frame with NQ, but I'm seeming to be getting a pretty good read here. So yeah, don't worry about this side. That was just I had a double screen up that day. This is what we want to look at here. This was my entry. So you had price coming down, right? We came up, we moved back down, we created this support, strong bullish candle. I entered on the following candle and then took my profit right there. So within 2 minutes, I was out of that trade, and that one did get me a pretty big profit back, 1,400 back on that one. And then where's this last gold trade right here? Or is this NQ? Yes, this is NQ, short position, basically selling off of this fade and looking for price to drive down there. So that was that Monday. I've ended up taking some losses this week, right? I couldn't really get the best read on the market. All losses here on Wednesday. Thursday, I did answer back with a big green day, $3,300, and then Friday, I ended up having a red day, negative 1,300, and I just called it there. I was still going to be up on the week. Notice how this was the same exact loss that I took earlier on, right? I think what really kind of stopped my trade here, though, was this support level right there. So as I was in this trade entering in, I went into some profits, but then later price came back up and ended up stopping me out there. So that was the week. I ended that that third week still up $2,600. So I ended up still profiting in that week, even though I had 3 red days. Now, this is the cool part about just having some maturity in the market is you're never gonna, when you trade with the term "I will trade for tomorrow," and you look at the long game of your trading, you're never going to blow your accounts. You're never going to blow, and make stupid decisions that is going to lead you down a bad path on any given day, because you know the result of that, right? I understand if I'm going to overtrade and start to over risk, the results that I've gotten from that have not been good. They have not led to profitability. So I'm not that smart, but I'm smart enough to know that if these actions lead me to profitability and these actions lead me to being not profitable, I'm smart enough to begin to develop the habits and the actions that lead to profitability and stay the heck away from any of the habits and the actions that lead to unprofitability, right? Boom. Mind blowing, isn't it? Crazy, right? So I'm just not willing to deviate. I'm not willing to go against my rules and against my plan. And That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. So very, 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 very rarely will you ever see me break my plan. I trade live every single day. I don't even think I've broken my plan a handful of times in the last 3 years. Maybe a handful, if that, in the last 3 years. So it's no surprise that I get good results, right? Because when you follow a predictable, proven system, you get predictable results. If you take random trades in the market, take random executions, random trade management, you will get random results. And I don't want to bank on random results, right? I want to be a good leader. I want to be a good provider. I got a family, all right? I want to know, hey, I'm going to come to the desk every day and repeat the same patterns over and over again, because that's what keeps me profitable, right? So keep that in mind. As we move into the following, or the last week, Monday was a no trade day here. So we had a no trade day on Monday, and then everything else was green. So we really did finish the month off hot, especially coming off of a pretty tough week, right? It was a very tough price action. Things that typically would work really well, didn't really tend to work during that week, but we answered back big. No trades on Monday. Tuesday, 2 trades, won them both. Wednesday, 3 trades. Thursday, 2 trades, and then Friday, 2 trades. And that basically ended my month here. So ended that week about $4,800 profit, totaling in about $22,700. So I did take about $11,000 out in payouts this month, which was really good. Here's some payout, emails and stuff like that. But all in all, it's been a good month. If we move down a little bit, as you can see, the duration of my trades, the time performance. So clearly taking a lot of trades in London and a lot of trades pretty much after the NY Open. As you can see, I say this about 9 p.m. right here. So I'm sorry, 9 a.m. right there. So I would say most of the trades, if we're looking at that, are in the New York session, are typically on the other side of the NY Open. This is like 9 a.m. and then most of my trades are pretty much taken on the other side of that, between 9 and about 12. So that's the hot spot for me. And then, as you can see, London Open here, and then a couple trades in Asian session. So we don't take many trades in Asian session, but look how good we do. As you can see, those are all green. There's two red trades in Asian. So although we don't get a lot of trades and a lot of movement there, when we do get movement, we tend to execute, right, and have a good result. As you can see over here, most of my trades are pretty much run from anywhere from like 1 minute to 15 minutes. Very rarely am I holding anything past 15 minutes there. So yeah, usually when we get into trades, we're hunting down volume. We're executing when volume's in play, and typically that leads to pretty quick trades. So that is a little bit about my month. Let's go ahead and take a look at the month in the clubhouse here, because not only am I succeeding here, but we'll start on March 2nd, which was my first post, which just happened to be taking $3,000 in payouts here. Trader Next Door, you're going to see a lot of good, clean trading, a lot of payouts. Isaiah with a $2,400 payout on the way, 600 across 4 accounts. As you can see, February was really good for most of our traders as well. Kind of recapping that. Louis G, the GOAT, combine number 3 locked in. So we made some moves. We had a lot of good trading. We called a lot of really, really solid trades within the clubhouse. And these are where most of the trades are taken from. So big productive month here. I'm just going to kind of skim through it a little bit. If we run into any sort of payouts and stuff, we'll take a look at those. But these are all XFAs too, for the most part. A lot of our guys and girls now, we've thoroughly coached them through the process of just being a professional, taking good quality trades, not deviating from the profitable trading system. And they're starting to catch on, right? They're starting to develop momentum, start to get a better read on their trading. They're moving through their challenges and combines and beginning to trade on these live XFA accounts, right? Not many people are making $500 in a day. Not many people are making $900 in a day. Here's Sebastian here, right? With three XFAs, right? 600, 612, almost, I mean, that's almost like $2,000 in a day right there, right? AB Mike, $1,100 on his 50K XFA times two, right? So, we are really making some moves. We've got a really good philosophy and strategic approach to these prop firms. So if you guys haven't been funded yet or you haven't gotten payouts, come join the clubhouse so we can kind of share our philosophy with you and share how we are able to kind of pass these combines very quickly and then move into the paid phase, right? So a lot of good stuff here, a lot of green, not much red here in March, but overall you got some payouts coming in. This is a $5,000 payout from my man Bands Counted Up. Big congratulations. Let's see what we got here. We got more funded traders, right? More funded traders, more traders getting payouts. Project Toro, or sorry, PM Magnifico there. And these are all household names. The cool part about the clubhouse and about TTE is it really is a family. It's a lot deeper than just this little Discord where you go in and you do a voice chat and you get to hear from your trading guru once a day. Like I'm pouring my heart into this group and into this community along with the others, and the community just comes together as a whole, and it's not just me anymore. There is such a good buzz going on, such momentum going on within the clubhouse. It's taken on a life of its own. Here's myself with another $2,600 payout here times two. So I took $2,600 on two XFA accounts for that payout. We got some more payouts here, $2,300, $2,400. So we're getting to the bag here, ladies and gents. We're getting to the bag. So I don't want to bore you with this, but these are just some of the awesome results that we've been getting over here in the clubhouse. Let's take a look. Another payout here. 3,200, 3,200, 3,200, 369. That's over $10,000 in payouts right there. Just taking clubhouse trades, just taking the education and beginning to apply what they're learning, right? I truly believe we don't have an education problem. We have an application problem. And that's why we're trying to get our traders educated quickly and then begin to apply what they're learning, right? So yeah, just a sea of green. I don't want to, again, bore you guys with this. We got another payout here, $5,000 for Jay Deasy. Super proud of that dude, just making some big time moves here. So that is a little bit about our monthly recap here. We got another past combine here, more past combines. This is me just loaded up with 5 XFAs. It's a good feeling. It's a good feeling to be consistent and disciplined and keeping the future in mind, right? Trading for the future, being a good example for this group, and this group is following right in my footsteps. So all you see is green here. We don't get us wrong. We do have red days, right? We shared those red days with you, but man, overall, it's been absolutely incredible. Cannon with a big $600 payout. Congratulations. And just a lot of traders getting payouts for the first time, passing combines and beginning to really believe in themselves. I mean, that's the big thing is when traders come in here, they lack belief mainly, right? Yeah, they need some help with the technicals, but no one's really came along and said, hey, man, you can do this. Right? You can do this. If you get your head out of your what and you start acting disciplined and you get professional, you can make money here. Like we're living proof showing you, right? This is another payout that I took. And yeah, man. So, again, not to continue on the whole, green here, but I'm telling you, we got something big going on here in the clubhouse, and we want you to be a part of it. We want to see you win. We want to see you get good results. If we kind of get rid of this range here, let's go back to the full year. I'm up pretty big. January 1st. Some of it is combine stuff. Most of it is XFA though. So that's kind of like where we're sitting now. $85,000 for the year, 70% win rate, 83% daily win rate, about a 2R on my trades. As you can see right in here, as we close out quarter one, we've performed extremely well, you know, taking our base hits every single day and then taking advantage of those doubles, triples, and really home runs when they come, right? One thing I learned is that good trades come straight to you. If you have to go looking for it, chances are you're going to find something that you may not want to see. So let trades come to you, gang. If you guys need help in your trading, come visit us on the YouTube live stream. We live stream the New York session Monday through Friday. We're dropping a lot of education. You're getting a lot of feedback from traders saying, hey, look, man, these streams, these live interactions have truly changed my trading and also changed my life. So, you know, let's get together. Let's make sure we are thinking for the future, trading for the future, and keeping things professional. So appreciate you guys sticking around to the end of this video. We will have another monthly review coming in April for y'all. And safe trading in April. Don't over risk, don't over trade, and best of luck, my friends.